I understand he's a New Yorker. He fights back. In his defense, I've never seen anybody get attacked like that. Every single day of his life, getting boom, boom. I never seen anything like it. And, you know, to his credit, he stood up to it. He didn't fold, and he didn't go under the pressure. But the way he reacted, it was so divisive, and people have had enough. Even now.
Your fans, your viewers who pay you the money are going to force you to do a town hall, and it's going to be on my terms. So I'll be patient. In the next 6 months, you'll host a town hall for me, except it's going to be on my terms. This is the kind of stuff that you want a guy like that that's negotiating with Putin, with Xi, with Zelensky, with this, with that. You want that.
Patrick Bet-David brought on this mob boss, Michael Franzese, to discuss many different political issues, but of course they clash whenever that magical name gets brought up, Donald Trump. And Patrick Bet-David was forced to put this guy in his place, this guy Michael Franzese in his place for his ridiculous comments about Donald Trump. Patrick Bet-David is so good at this stuff, man. He's so good at just breaking down these people's arguments. Let's get into this clip where Patrick Bet-David on the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel goes after this guy, Michael Franzese, for this ridiculously woke take about Donald Trump.
What are your thoughts right now? DeSantis, Trump, where are you at with that? Has anything changed?
Listen, here's what I say. And, you know, people sometimes knock me because, you know, my whole thing, I talk about mob stuff and everything. Michael, don't get into politics. And what I try to tell people, this is not politics. These are issues that are affecting your life. The way politicians are dealing with it, they're creating these issues. But these are issues that are affecting, you know, our lives, our very lives. So I try to tell people it's not politics. I'm interested in the future of this country, and my kids, my grandchildren, your kids. This is issues that we need to talk about. So when you look at Biden in that regard, I just can't believe, you know, the damage that he's done to this country and continues. You know, and look, if he was a good Democrat, hey, great. You know, he's doing the right thing. So getting back to Trump and DeSantis, I love DeSantis. I got to say, I love what he's doing. I love his boldness. I think all his moves were right. And when Trump was in office, I thought his policies were great. His policies. I thought he didn't act presidential in so many ways, getting on Twitter and doing things. I really believe, Patrick, and forget the conspiracy theories about the fraud and the election. If he would have a year before all of this, he would have said, you know what? I'm not going to argue with Nancy Pelosi. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to stoop to that level. I'm worried about the people in this country. I'm going to continue to do the right thing for the country and get rid of all that other stuff that he did, all that pettiness, all that divisiveness. That's what killed him. I understand he's a New Yorker. He fights back. In his defense, I've never seen anybody get attacked like that. Every single day of his life, getting boom, boom. I've never seen anything like it. And, you know, to his credit, he stood up to it. He didn't fold, and he didn't go under the pressure. But the way he reacted, it was so divisive, and people have had enough. Even now, you know, the one thing about him on the CNN deal, he acted more present. He tried to stay on the issues. I said, wow, maybe there's, you know, the light went off in his head. Maybe he's starting to realize, forget all this other nonsense. Tell people what they need to hear, what they want to hear, how you're going to fix what's wrong in this country. Because that's what people are starving to hear. Look, you know, they can say whatever they say. I believe the southern border. I mean, look, you got to be on drugs not to realize what's going on. He's bringing all these people in here. He's going to hope at some way he gives them a path to citizenship so they can vote, or at least vote. And they want to be in power forever. That's it. That's it. That's the total plan. They're not humanitarians. They don't care about these people coming in. That's got to be the plan. And for people not to see that, I don't get it. I really don't, Patrick. So, you know, Trump, DeSantis, okay, if Trump were back in office, his policies would be good. I think he would do the right thing again. I really believe that he cares about this country. I mean, that's what I see in him. Aside from all the other clutter that's around him, he cares about this country. But I don't know if we can take that again. I don't know if we can take him in office again.
So you would rather see DeSantis over Trump?
You know, because I think DeSantis, his policies will be just as good. He'll do the right thing and maybe less stuff that we have to listen.
He could have been right. Like, I'm not saying that Michael Franzese is completely wrong here. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments. I just think in the age that we're in currently, what wins in politics is authenticity, and nobody is authentic like Donald Trump is. Nobody can beat Donald Trump at the authenticity game, especially not Ron DeSantis, man. I mean, there was too many things that happened, man, where he just looked super awkward talking to the press sometimes. He got caught like hot mic'd being really awkward with just random voters. And then like he wore those shoes to increase his height. I mean, there's so many things that it was like, this guy is just off. There's something off about him, you know? And whereas with Donald Trump, it's like, okay, I know that, yeah, he might say some things that might ruffle some feathers, but he's going to be authentically himself. I'm always going to get the real Donald Trump. And I think that's what wins in politics today. That's why people, I don't think like Gavin Newsom, or definitely not, what's the guy's name? Bill Waltz or Mike Waltz, whatever the hell the vice president name for Kamala Harris was. If that guy runs for president, he's going to get demolished by anybody, because he is the fakest person. Like, and so is Kamala Harris, and all these politicians are fake, man. Trump is the only one that's not. That's why he has like a cult-like following. And I think that's what won him this election, and that's what made him beat out DeSantis. He could have been right. Maybe DeSantis would have been a better president because he would have been more tame. He would have just been more chill, and he would have had the same level of policy. Maybe he's right. But we're never going to know, because the guy just can't beat Trump at the authenticity game. Nobody can. Not anybody on the right wing or the left wing. That's what everybody wants. So we'll probably never know if DeSantis would have been good or not.
Unless the left goes after him in the same way. I don't know. He doesn't have that kind of baggage, it seems, that he can be attacked like Trump was. But
I think Michael brings up a really good point about maybe the difference between Trump and DeSantis. You know, a wise man once said, choose your enemies wisely, right?
That would be a great book title.
Yeah, it'd be a great book title coming out soon. And I think Trump's problem was, I think Michael's absolutely right. He was attacked viciously by the left, and some of it was warranted, some of it was unwarranted, some of it was Trump derangement syndrome. The problem with Trump is everyone was his enemy. Like, you know how they say don't punch down, punch up, right? He would pick a fight with everybody. Like, no matter what, he would punch them 10 times harder. And 99% of the time, he should not even respond to some of these Twitter folks or just any media outlet, anything. Just don't even give him the time of day. But he would, and he would engage in these little battles with people that were completely beneath him. Whereas DeSantis, maybe he had a little preview of that book that might be coming out soon.
Well, I love
he's choosing his enemies very wisely, whether it's Disney, whether it's the woke. Florida is where woke comes to die, whether it's the abortion issue. He's picking and choosing his battles.
But I love.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job with Florida too, especially when it comes to, you know, allowing people to fight the illegal immigrants, get them out of there. But I think the best thing that DeSantis has done in Florida has been the voting revamp that he did. I think he did a great job with that. You know, after the 2020 election, they made it a massive point to revamp the voting system in Florida. And we knew who was going to win Florida in this past election very quickly. You know, within an hour of the polls closing, we knew who won Florida, and we knew who won which counties. And I mean, that's how it should be. And then they still have like Arizona and California and those West Coast states that are, I mean, it's been a week and we still don't know who won those states. And then there's the down ballot voting, you know, in those states that it took a couple weeks to figure out. That's unacceptable. That's too much time for errors to happen, for nefarious things to happen. Florida really shored up the voting. They actually allow, you know, Homeland Security to do their job in Florida, whereas other states don't. And I think, yeah, DeSantis has no doubt done a good job in Florida. It's just the charisma factor that is not there. The authenticity factor is not there. The alpha side that Donald Trump brings as well is just not there with DeSantis. He just doesn't have that. He doesn't have the X factor. He doesn't.
There's one response when Trump was banging on him, and somebody said, "What do you think about Trump banging on you?" He says, "I'm not a candidate."
Right.
That was it. Just perfect.
Correct.
Response.
He's living to the fullest what we're talking about right now. He's like, he knows that it doesn't make sense at this point to start engaging in a battle with Trump yet. At some point, he's going to probably have to step up to the podium to do that if he wants to declare.
Hopefully he'll do it intelligently, and he won't get into the real dirt the way Trump does. I mean, that's not good for anybody. It wears you out. It wears you
Was
out.
that your
He
biggest
wore
problem with
everybody out.
Trump? Not the policies. It was just the personality and then going down that rabbit hole of nonsensical stuff.
I cannot believe some of the, criticisms that people have about Trump. And I tell them, listen, in a way, President, it is a personality contest. You want to see somebody that's charismatic and has a personality. But it's really about his policies and how he deals with America. And I always tell, it's not personal. I'm not going to have, Trump go out with my daughter. I don't invite him over for dinner. But his policies were good for America. So what else are you looking at? What do you care about what he did in his personal life? I mean, the CNN, some of the criticism of him, well, he's a sexual abuser and he's this, he's that. How could you have him on television? Well, he's running for president. What do you mean? That's when you realize, is CNN really a news organization anymore? Because the people within CNN are knocking them. Meanwhile, they had the highest ratings they had in how long? Why wouldn't you put them on the air?
You know who's calling Trump's camp right now? MSNBC. Saying, and then NBC from the top is saying, you guys better not do this. This is not worth it. Don't give him the eyeballs. MSNBC is like, shit, we need some ratings. Bring that guy here. We need some eyeballs as well. And then who's probably going to end up being last is going to be Fox. Fox is going to end up being last on a town hall. He's going to do a town hall with everybody. Look how he works. These are the things that you have to give credit to. Fox doesn't want to do a town hall. He says, no problem. Who's your number one enemy? CNN. I'm going to go do a town hall with them. Then MSNBC. Then you're going to call me and say, why are we not doing a town hall? Because all the Fox viewers are going to ask you, how come you're not doing a town hall? Your fans, your viewers who pay you the money are going to force you to do a town hall, and it's going to be on my terms. So I'll be patient. In the next 6 months, you'll host a town hall for me, except it's going to be on my terms. This is the kind of stuff that you want a guy like that that's negotiating with Putin, with Xi, with Zelensky, with this, with that. You want that. You don't want somebody.
100%. And he's not doing it in a way that's like, people make Trump out to seem like just an absolute madman. He gets respect from a lot of these world leaders that nobody else gets respect from. They don't respect Biden. They don't really respect anybody else. Donald Trump gets respect from these people. And I don't think they would respect DeSantis the same way. Because like I said, he doesn't have that like alpha factor that Donald Trump has. But he also forms good relationships with these people. It's a mutual respect thing. It's an understanding that both countries, both world leaders have the ability to do bad things to the other. And, but we're choosing to be respectful to one another because we both have mutual respect. And, fear, you have to fear someone to respect them. There has to be a little bit of fear. I don't think anybody's fearing DeSantis, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think anybody's fearing DeSantis. Curious to see what you guys think in the comments, though. What do you think about Patrick Bet-David putting Michael Franzese in his place and explaining why Donald Trump is better and why he won and why he absolutely dominated Ron DeSantis in this past election cycle? Let me know in the comments. You guys think about this whole Patrick Bet-David versus this mob boss Michael Franzese situation here on the PBD podcast?